Okay. Hi, this is Joseph with the third episode of Toy Talk. Still trying to figure this out, but we got a very special guest today. This is actually an international call. So we have Brian Sudol. I hope I'm saying your
Hello.
last name correctly. Over there in Japan. Good. And me and Brian have a bit of a history together. We did go to the same school. We went to Monmouth together. And Brian actually decided he needed to run away and go to and go spend some time in Japan because they had better toys there, as you can see behind him. So appropriately enough, we're going to be talking a little bit about Brian's love here of, it looks, as you can see behind him, Godzilla, as we have Godzilla versus King Kong that just came out. So yeah, look at that. Holy crap.
Just a little bit of a problem.
Okay, so first off, going to Japan and getting, like, you arrive, you get there, you're getting yourself settled in, and when you see the amount of stuff there, I mean, in terms of toys, and because it's if you watch any of these documentaries about toys, it's always Japan's partnership with America, and that is the back and forth, the symbiosis of toys. Like, what is it like there, as far as, you know, what do you see? You know,
Well, I think what's funny is there's a lot of when it comes to Japanese toys, there's two classes. There's the vintage toys and the history of that. Then there's also a lot more of the modern toys. There's things associated with anime. But I think when it comes to Japanese toys, though, in general, like the kaiju like kind of things, or the giant robots, that's where like the main vintage toys really roll in. And I think what's cool about them is they're kind of an evergreen property in a way, in that, no, some of these things are not currently on TV, like or a new anime, but I think because their appeal is just so cool that it attracts new generations to them. And like, I'll put, for example, this is the first Godzilla figure. This is from 1966. I was never even born. I was born in '89, so this was a factor for me originally.
So that is produced in 1966. That's not a replica.
No. This is an original. This is by the company Marusan.
Oh wow!
And I think it's kind of hard to see, but
I could see that. Yeah.
1966, and I think what's just so funny about this is that this was based off of a model kit they did like a year or so prior, and then it was based off of an American model kit by a company called Aurora, who did a lot of the Universal monsters. So this is where it all started. But nowadays, like when I was a kid, like when I was 10, Bandai was making, they still do make like 6 to 8 inch figures, and that kind of what really jump started my Godzilla collecting. But like nowadays, you'll see like all the high grade statues, and some people like in the community, they'll look at these and be like, "That doesn't look like Godzilla. It looks kind of derpy." But
yeah,
it's the history.
I can't lie. I fall into that category of like, this doesn't even look good enough for me to buy. But there is definitely a cool quality of like the simple toys, the things with. I think I touched on one of my previous episodes. Like, you know, when you're a kid, you have a toy and it doesn't have many points of articulation. You know, it basically moves like this, but you don't care.
Yeah,
you know, it's the thing you like. You know, that's all that matters.
Exactly. I think now it's like when we look, like when we grew up, for example, we had Batman toys, and it's like, yeah, they had like maybe like the arms would go up and down, like you said, or it had like some cool accessories. But now you have the high grade statues, or like in Japan you have figure arts, which have like all the points of articulation. It's insane.
Yeah.
But I think it's something about the charm of an older toy that just can't be duplicated.
The simplicity, which it looks like you got a lot there. So is there like, I mean, I know Godzilla has quite a rogues gallery of
it does
to fight. So I mean, do you have all of those? Like, was it Ghidorah is the big one, and
I can get a little closer for you. But yeah, Ghidorah, the 3 necks. So this is a Bandai. That's about a 6 inch figure. Then one of my favorite companies is M1 Go, or Michigo. They do the vintage style of modern figures. So the one in the back there, that's a stylized figure of the GMK Ghidorah from 2001. But
is there like Mothra back there too?
Yeah, there's Mothra. Well, I have him down there. There's others that are on top of the Godzillas here.
Oh, wow.
This is a vintage Mothra from 1966. This is the first one they made.
Oh, wow, it's blue.
Yeah, because a lot of them, for whatever reason, they using the bright colors because then when they painted them, it was appealing to kids. So typically these would range about 350 yen. So like nowadays, 350 yen is like $3.50. But
did I see a Kong? Is that a Kong, the blue one?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a reissue because that's like those go up to about $1,000 if you find like a really nice condition one.
$1,000.
Yeah, it's one of the rare ones. But the funny part, it's not Kong, it's Giant Gorilla because they didn't have the license.
I don't think that rolls off as well as if it's like HBO Max, Big Lizard versus Giant Gorilla. You know, it doesn't really.
Yeah, monkey versus lizard.
Monkey versus lizard. I think I've seen that in a zoo somewhere. I don't know. Those are great though.
Yeah, this one's actually one of my more recent ones. This is the company called Bullmark. They took over after Morrison kind of went bankrupt during the late 60s. But they're still going today. It's an Aurora color. Now, what Aurora color is, it's kind of like the Northern Lights. It has...
Oh, like so I thought it was see-through, so it's not see-through.
Oh, it is clear. It's clear vinyl.
Oh, it is clear. Okay. Wow.
But what's cool about this, though, is it's a clear vinyl with paint on the outside, like the little badges are. But inside the figure, going back to the 60s and 70s, they would do clear tinsel or a shiny tinsel inside of a figure, like an Ultraman or giant like Mazinger, and they would like look like kind of like guts inside of it. But so it looks kind of like an Aurora Borealis kind of effect, iridescent. So it's pretty cool. Wow,
and I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it just came out this past month. They just released that one. So
is that something that's more native, like that style of figure is more native to over there, or is that something you knew about even before you went over there and sought it out? Like, is that something that with the Godzilla collection of figures you knew about, and then when you went there you looked for that?
Well, in particular, like the way I found out about those figures is at first too, I thought they were kind of goofy looking. In the States, they were never really sold in the States like how we would buy regular licensed toys. I mean, some Asian importers would have them, like mostly in Hawaii or California. And that's what I found out about those was in a magazine called G-Fan. So that was Godzilla Fan magazine.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even know he has his own magazine. Gee.
Yeah, it's been going since the early 90s. But and they have a convention every year called, at first it was G-Con, then for like a first year or two, then it was G-Fest. And they'd bring in some of the movie actors. They would have the Godzilla suit actors there, and there's a huge dealer's room like any convention would have.
Wow.
And
so some exclusives and things like that, I'm assuming they have there.
Yeah, they would. It's not like say a Comic-Con like level event, but they do have exclusives. And some of the toy makers now. These particular figures in Japanese are called sofubi. Now, what that roughly translates to is soft vinyl. You'll see there's like SOFUBI or SOFVI, soft V. So it depends whatever term you like. But some people even call the Bandai figures sofubi, but mostly if you hear that term, it refers to the vintage style. Like
that's what they're primarily made of. That's what. So,
yes. And
so like this is Bandai, I guess, gets referred to like a Band-Aid. Is, you know, there's more products that make a Band-Aid, but Bandai has kind of the market on Sofubi because that's what they made.
Well, I guess nowadays, well, a typical Bandai is like this. One moment.
You're gonna be pulling out stuff over here. I can't even see what is. I saw something orange there.
Yep, here we go.
Oh.
This is well, this is where Bandai was putting like the really good stuff in like the mid '90s still. But this was made in Japan. A lot of the stuff now is, of course, made in China because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But this is a theater exclusive Burning Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Destroyer. So you could only get this.
Oh, does that glow or anything? Is that?
No, this is just it's like orange vinyl with red sprays.
That's really good looking. It's got a lot of detail.
Yeah, it's kind of harkens back to his when he was melting down. So.
Wow.
Now
I'm gonna have to go over there and get one.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is too, because I remember hearing about the movie theater exclusive figures through the magazine too. And I was like, wow, those are really cool because they just do some really zany colors, and they're always very expensive on eBay just because you never saw them. But sometimes you'll go to a secondhand store here and you'll find some. And I like to have the tags on them because that,
of course,
adds. So for me,
no, I think anybody watching who's a collector can sympathize with that. You know, you have to buy two, so one you can open and take the tag off and play with, and then the one you can
So when I came here at first and I was seeing all the figures without the tags, I was still buying them. I was just like, oh, this is so cool, because I never had them. But then I got a little pickier as the years went by. I'm like, no tag, $25, eh.
So you went over there. I know you told me, because I mean I knew you went over there. I couldn't keep track of time. You said it was 2017.
Yeah, it's been a blur.
Right? Yeah, I know.
But yeah, 2017. So I'm coming up on 4 years around July.
So before you went to Japan, I mean, obviously, I don't know if that's coincidental or not. You know, this was nothing we ever really discussed. It was like, I don't know if you had an infatuation with Japan or anything at the time, but like, was as a kid, you know, did you have a connection to the Godzilla films, or you know, there was the Godzilla Jr. cartoon, if you remember that, or anything like that kind of drove your interest toward your career? Now, was there some like fond memory you have that you could attach to the character, you know, and then to your profession? Oh,
that's a very good question. Well, for me, the first Godzilla film that I ever saw was I was with my dad and my cousin, and it was during the summer. I was probably about 4.5, 5, and he had a VHS of King Kong vs. Godzilla. So this Godzilla design from 1962.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's the black and white one where they're like.
No, that was the first. Actually, that was the first color film they did.
Okay.
That was the third film in the series. They had Godzilla Raids Again, or which was for whatever reason repackaged here as Gigantus the Fire Monster. Then the third movie, King Kong vs. Godzilla. So that was actually
questionable marketing decision. Gigantus. Fire Monster.
Well, in Japan it was released as Godzilla no Gyakushu, so Godzilla's counterattack. So, but in America, for whatever reason, it came out because I guess you can't just that monster died. We have to have a new monster. So.
Okay.
I don't know, questionable marketing strategy, like you said. But King Kong vs. Godzilla was released by Universal here in the States. So that's how we got it.
So that was the first one you could remember seeing, and that sparked some interest to you in as far as like, I don't know, film initially in Japan, or you know,
Japanese film. That's probably the first Japanese film I ever saw. But like I loved monsters even before that, though. Like my dad would always watch Universal horror movies like Frankenstein, Dracula, Creature from the Black
Lagoon. Yeah.
So I was always a monster kid, and then so you knew I would like that movie. So we were watching King Kong vs. Godzilla, and then from there I probably went to KB, and at the time I didn't even know they were being made, but Trendmasters was a pretty big toy company. They went out probably around 2001, 2002, if memory serves. But they would have these double packs of figures. Like they had 4-inch figures, they had 6-inch figures with like noises and stuff, and they had the 10-inch figures, like one of these.
I think I know what you're gonna pull out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got this one recently. This one's harder to find in the States. Well, in good condition anyway. But this is the Space Godzilla. Then it's
look at those shoulder pads.
Put it on.
I think I've seen it. Because I have a Mecha Godzilla that his eyes light up and he screeches, and I have one that kind of looks like the orange one you have, and his eyes are red and they blink and everything too. I thought those were. I still have those, and I have the Mecha Ghidorah. Here's the one metalhead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are awesome. I don't know if that was by Trendmasters. I gotta look.
Yeah, they were the only at that time in the States. They were the only company releasing Godzilla toys. Because Bandai it's a long line of history. I mean, because you had Marusan, Bulmar. Then Bandai in Japan, they had another subsidiary called Poppy, and they would release like the giant Godzilla figures, and then they'd had some other smaller vinyl ones. And in the States, Mattel released like this really ugly looking Godzilla that had like a rocket fist. It was based on the Poppy figure. But in '83, Bandai started putting out figures like this, not in this good detail, but they were mostly in Japan. You could import them, but they were, at that time, they were incredibly expensive at conventions. Like some of the rarer ones would go for over $200. That was back in the 90s. So, but Trendmasters was the only, like, per se, licensed toy that was like you could buy in any store. But so what was funny though was a lot of the monsters, some were reboots of the Showa era monsters. So the Showa era was going back all the way to about the teens or the 20s in Japan, and that ended in 1988. So like the old 70s and 60s monsters is from the Showa period. And the Heisei period is like the year we were born. So I was born in '89.
Oh, so that was like September. Yeah.
So that was the first year of the Heisei period, which just ended like about 2 or 3 years ago. And that's like the 80s and 90s series. So there are some monsters like Space Godzilla, for example. We didn't get that movie in the States officially until like 99, like 98, 99 after the TriStar release, because you probably remember when Godzilla 98 came out.
That's Matthew Broderick one.
Yeah. Gene Reno.
Yep.
Well, I mean, some people will decry that movie, and I'm not still the biggest fan of it, but it's a fun blockbuster movie. It does. Yeah. But I think what it is too, though, is that movie paved the way for them to re-release the Heisei movies we never got, because we got Godzilla '85, then we got Godzilla vs. Biollante in 1989 or 1990 through HBO, then Radio Silence. But they kept making movies until '95, which was Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. There was Godzilla vs. or Mothra vs. Godzilla Battle for Earth. There was Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, which is what your figure is based off of. And there's Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, then Godzilla vs. Destroyer. So some of these monsters were kind of sneak peeks into movies we never saw. So that was pretty cool about the Trendmasters.
I didn't know it. See, that's awesome. So like, this is not, and this is why I like doing this, because I talk to people who, you know, my interest kind of falls within like Marvel and DC and some weird things here and there. But like the Godzilla was something I'm aware of, and I've seen the movies. But like, I know you're a teacher, so you're doing a very good job teaching me a bit on the history of Godzilla as well. That's so cool. I'm actually my wife's gonna get mad at me because now I kind of want to buy that orange one.
Well, this is a very good one to have. I mean, this is a very popular design, and
I just love the colors. I want to paint a car that color. Like, I just want to like that paint job. That's so freaking cool looking.
The Camaro is calling you, Joe.
It is. That's almost done. That's we just got to get the coat of paint on it. I just bought a '74 Corvette as well.
Oh, nice.
Split bumper. So me and my brother and my father bought that. We're getting that redone. But
very cool. Yeah, that was the last year they had the chrome bumper. It was on the back though, because that's the first year the Enduro bumper on the front.
Yep, and it's got the flip up headlights and.
Actually, no, I tell a lie. That was '73, but '74 is the first year of the two Enduro bumpers.
73 through. Hang on, I gotta think. Was it 73?
73, yeah. Now that I remember, 74 was the first Enduro front and back.
Yeah, the 74. Yeah, it has the plastic. Yeah, the split in the back. That's why they call it the split bumper. Has the one line in there. And then I forget what year they started doing. You remember they did the rack on the back of the Corvette?
The luggage rack?
Yeah.
Well, they had.
So I always thought it was a weird decision for the Corvette.
Well, I'm not sure if they may have had some of those going back, like as an option. But I know, like the Mustang also had the luggage racks. But I guess maybe it was like, oh, it's a golf bag, you know, because you go to the golf.
Yeah. I guess it technically wasn't a muscle car. It was. That's another thing I know. I mean, as you know, I love cars.
Well, me too.
Some of the Japanese. I guess you call them like Japanese muscle cars, or they're the old school GTR and things like that.
Dude, if I could get myself a Datsun Z car, I would be so happy. But the thing is, though, you have a better chance of getting one in the States than here in Japan. I'll just say that much.
If I ever get the chance, I'll buy it and I'll hold it for you. I have seen a couple. I was just in Florida. So what kind of got my wheel spinning on this, other than sitting around in COVID too, was doing this whole thing. So Florida, for those of you who don't know, is like the toy and comic heaven for some reason, specifically Seminole, Florida. And we went to a car show there, and there was a yellow Datsun, like the Z era. It's kind of ugly color, like that pea yellow. I don't know how to describe the color. Well, I would think it was original paint, but but then everything else was muscle, Chevelles and Camaros and the beautiful muscle cars. But you're starting to see more in the car shows. The Japanese stuff trickles in now. I guess people are finally like, okay, you can come now. You can you can join in. But yeah, that stuff's neat.
I think what it is too, because everyone just associated Fast and the Furious with the Japanese cars, but like when you peel the layers back, a lot of people did still like the Japanese cars back then, the Z cars, or what's a really cool car too? The Toyota Celica. I think it's a TA27. It looks like a mini Mustang.
I've never seen that. I gotta check that out. They're supposed to be bringing Celicas back. Apparently, Toyota is.
Well, we'll see. The last one that came out was, they killed it off in 2002 or 3. It was the front wheel drive one. Yeah,
it was the spaceship looking one. It looked like they had the Celica, and they had like Celica Type S. Okay. So I know Nissan. Speaking of tying this into Godzilla, I know Nissan, or it's a tuner company, has a modern GTR that they call Godzilla. It's like 1,001 horsepower or something. Okay, insane. So what Nissan should do, or Toyota should do, whoever gets the licensing, is they should have the Godzilla edition, like Supra, and make it green, because they brought the Supra back. So make it green and make it have like red LED halo lights and make it look mean, and just give it the juice.
I'm sure they could do that at SEMA or something, but I mean, all the JDM fans would be like, riot. It's like, the GTR is Godzilla. It's like, make Supra something else, make it like Ultraman or another property, like Power Rangers.
That's another one. Do you have an Ultraman back there, or did I see it? Was that it? The robot?
Unfortunately, I have not Ultraman right now, but I have.
What's the robot guy you had? I saw a robot guy back there. I know everyone's gonna hate you for saying robot guy. I know everyone's gonna hate you. What's the robot guy? But it's everybody, you jackass. They're all robot.
But
there you go. Yes.
This is actually a character that's seen a bit of a resurgence, but this was Jet Jaguar.
Look at him.
So yeah, he's kind of, at that time, like, the giant robots were getting popular. Like, for example, in 1972, you had Mazinger Z. This is the Great Mazinger designs, so kind of similar in a way.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really popular. But the thing that was funny was this giant robot was designed by Toho, but it was inspired by a contest they did where a kid won, and because they had to design a new creature or creation for a movie, and that was in Godzilla vs. Megalon. He was the one that held the monster. Then Godzilla did that ridiculous drop kick.
Oh, where he's like flying. He's like the one where he's He's doing that. Yeah. Oh man.
So, but yeah, he was in. He was in that movie. And then never heard from him again, because at the time it wasn't really well received, but now, like, the character has a cult following. So in the new Godzilla anime series, Singular Point on Netflix, he kind of has a prominent role, so people are kind of like, I personally like the robots, so
that's very cool.
It's kind of nice to see them. But yeah, Ultraman is still big here. It went through a cooling off period after the 70s and then took a break. Then through like 1 or 2 foreign produced shows, I guess they kind of got their mojo back. Says, we got to really bring this back properly. Then they did it.
Wow.
But
I like that guy though. I see that. Yeah, like you said, those figures look a little cheesy, but there is there is something to them. They have a charm about them.
Yeah, so it's that simplicity, and because I think as a kid you use your imagination. And I think to you as a kid, probably some kids probably said, "Oh, it doesn't look like the monster." Then some kids, "Wow, that looks really cool." And whereas now you need like these high grade like sculpted figures, and
yeah, because we're buying them now because we're the idiots that are paying for them.
Like there's a company called X Plus that does these like 25 or 30 centimeter statues. Like they call them like statue figures, and they're all like that dark gray or brown, like they're realistic to the suits. But I think on a shelf they kind of look blah, like it all blends in. Whereas with the bright colors, I mean, the sun hits them and just like, bam!
Yeah, no, they look sharp. You know, the ones I always have to pull myself back from buying are the I don't actually know if it's. I want to say it's Square Enix, like the company that does, Final Fantasy and all those games. So there's these Marvel versions of and DC versions of like hyper stylized the DC character, the Marvel character, like Batman or Venom, that are like look like they would be in a Square Enix game. They're like super stylized. They're like $140 a piece. And every time I look at one and I go, do I need it? And I gotta sit there. And they're like, they're so expensive and they're so crazy looking with details and pieces you can pull apart. And I don't know if you've ever seen the if they're over there in Japan. I'm sure they are. You ever seen Hot Toys?
I've heard the name. I'm not sure if I've seen the toys themselves. It depends.
Hot Toy, those will go for like $200 to like I think even like $400, and they're the most detailed, posable, beautiful looking, like down to the last detail figures. And those are things, and who are those made for if not,
Yeah, collectors.
Those aren't for kids. Like,
well, it depends how rich you are, how deep your pockets are. Because I've seen kids, like in the Facebook Godzilla groups, there's parents that'll say, "Oh, I paid $400 for this SH Monster Arts Ghidorah for my kid's birthday." Then they're 10. I'm just like, that's going to be broken in like 2 days.
It's going to have marker on it, drool. It's going to be chewed on. Yeah. So it's fun. The evolution of things, like they have the nostalgia Godzilla stuff like you have, the reissues, because obviously you're buying it. But then, I mean, I don't know if kids use toys. I mean, I don't know how it is here. I mean, how it is over there. But like here, I see kids on iPads and all sorts of crap.
That's the thing, is kids don't play with toys anymore. And I mean, I'm sure there's a brief window, like up to when they're about 4 or 5, you can put Legos in front of them and they'll play with them. But as soon as you have, I guess, a smartphone or a tablet, those kids, they know what YouTube is. They get on there. Like, what am I?
But then they watch people playing games and playing with toys.
So, don't ask me. I mean, I'm glad we grew up at a good time. Like probably at the last.
Yeah, we had that window. We had that window of like stuff. That's why my dad's a big kid. If you ever come back, I got introduced to him. You got to just see his stuff. It's insane. But like, he's I gotta say one of my inspirations for doing this too. I love talking to people. I know you like toys too. I love talking to you about toys. I love talking to all my I got fortunate to have friends who are into that stuff. And I think the important thing is, it brings people joy and happiness to remember these things because you have such good memories attached to them, and that's important.
I think with toys too, that's really cool is that some toys are very expensive and some people are very fortunate enough to get them when they're new. Then some people get them at a flea market years later when they're a little cheaper, but you can still have a shared nostalgia for it. Like one toy I know some people, like G.I. Joe stuff is still pretty big.
Oh, love G.I. Joe. I love G.I. Joe.
But do you remember the USS Flag?
Was that a
It was the aircraft carrier.
Oh my god, yeah, but I never had that.
Yeah, it was way too expensive.
No, I didn't. Yeah, now, I know what you're talking. That thing was that's like one of those legendary mythic.
Yeah.
Toys.
Good luck getting.
And kids got. Yeah. Dude, that thing is.
I mean, if you got that, you're probably. It's like you could be the most hated kid in the neighborhood. But if you got that for Christmas, let's go to Billy's house. It's like he's got the flag.
I know, man. I hope if I find one of those one day, I almost bought a. Like I said, I was in Florida, and the one shop I went to had a nice big wall of the 12-inch figures and the reissue figures. And have you, like over here? So I don't know if they did it over there. but they reissued G.I. Joe figures.
Okay.
Right, 6-inch ones, nice packaging, nice detail, like of the early '90s looking ones, like Destro and that Cobra Commander look.
Okay.
I went to Target every Thursday and every Monday for because that's where I knew they were around me for months. I found one. I found a Cobra Commander. You cannot find them. People go there. They must pay off the people who stock the shelf. It's insane. But here, there's no toy stores anymore. There's no toy stores. That stuff is not sold, and it sucks.
That's the same thing too. It's what's funny is, I get there's some limited items. Like for example, the conventions, you'll have lotteries. Sometimes they make 10 of these things, and you can't get them. In Japan, we don't really use eBay. We use Yahoo auctions, which kind of petered out in the States. But that's how I get a lot of my figures, because I'm in the countryside, so I'm not in Tokyo. So I'm by bus it's 10 hours. But these particular ones, you could get at a convention called Wonderfest or Superfest, and they were limited to 25 sets a piece. So these are kind of harder to find. But the thing that's funny is recently these little guys right here, these are by Bandai.
No. Yeah.
So what's funny is that these are really cheap figures. This is $7, $15. And Bandai, for whatever reason, the pre-order system, someone was using bots or something, and you couldn't get them. And then of course they raised the price $40 and $20 shipping. So
yeah,
I mean, it's happening here too with scalping. That's not just PS5s or things like that.
People are ruining it. They're trying to take childhood joy that we're still trying to hang on to, and they're trying to make a profit of it.
Well, I mean, I'll put it this way. I can endure if I don't get a figure, but I feel bad for the kids that can't get them, because I think they're the future of these hobbies, and when companies can decide to still make or just completely disregard a franchise. So
yeah,
they're not buying them. So these are the kids, kind of passing this down to the new generation is really important to these hobbies. So I think, and the scalpers don't care. They're just there to make a buck. But like you said, that's frustrating too, because my dad, I know he would go to Target because they were carrying the NECA stuff. Yep. And NECA had the license for Godzilla. And they put out some really cool stuff, and the boxes with the movie posters on them. But they lost the license this past year, so that stuff's mostly out of the stores now.
Well, hopefully, I mean, you're somebody who, because of your position too, is in touch with the younger audience on a different side of the world. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, you could instill that joy and passion for toys, and I hope it's still living over there in Japan. Yeah. I hope it comes back here, because I mean, not that I'm out there polling kids on what they're playing with, but just from what I see out there, and it's sad. It's a lack. They have a lack of imagination now. I think it's very important to be able to hold something and play with it and feel the weight of it and imagine how it can move and build things with it and put it in scenarios rather than just hit
play.
Do this. There's 8-year-olds with phones. It's disgusting to me.
It's funny, as I say, technology can do so much, but it's but they're all doing the same thing, like you said, whereas toys, whether they play for hours on end or just 20 minutes at a time, they're still using their imagination. Or like Legos, you don't have to build the whole set in a day. Maybe do steps 1 through 20, then you go outside and play.
That's one of the best toys ever. One of the best inventions ever in the history of the world, I think, is Legos. I'm going to talk to, I think I mentioned it to you the other day when we were trying to make sure this all worked, but I'm going to do one with Jesse soon.
Jesse.
And look at his stuff. Yeah, anybody who's watching this, you got to look out for that one. My buddy Jesse does incredible sets. He did a Marvel City, does battle scenarios. He did the set from The Martian with Matt Damon. He did crazy
I saw that one. He also does a few military dioramas too. I think he did, was it BritCon he went to? That's the name of it. So we're gonna see what he's got built, and I'm gonna maybe ask him to do something. We're gonna do that. Hopefully soon, if I can get over there. He's got some stuff going on. I hear you. Who isn't busy these days?
Yeah, I know. But I think I know I told you, I said, well, we usually try to keep these to 10 minutes, but we ran way over. It was a pleasure speaking with you. So it was awesome, especially how often I get to speak to somebody who's experience life in Japan and somebody I know. So it's pretty cool. I feel very fortunate to have had the time with you here.
Pleasure is all mine, dude.
I'm gonna end it here. Maybe we'll have a part 2. We'll revisit maybe some Power Rangers. Eventually.
There we go.
That's my thing. But Brian,
I'll do some reconnaissance for you.
Oh wait, and one last thing, because I got to get this on record. So if you see any, I love Spider-Man. So if you see any Japanese Spider-Man stuff, you let me know, because I'll give you the money. Just send it on over, because I gotta have a Japanese Spider-Man over here. That'd be great.
Eyes open, ear to the ground. I'll do my best.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks again, Brian. Thank you. Anybody who's watching, I appreciate it. Like I said, I don't really know what this is yet. We're just we're talking about toys, trying to keep it fun, trying to keep it light. And so if you got anything you want to talk about, or anything, you enjoy or remember or whatever, just leave a comment. If you like Brian's Godzilla stuff, leave him a comment. He's got a YouTube channel too, which your YouTube channel is.
It's Earthbounder89. I'm a big Nintendo nerd too, so that's EARTHBOUNDER89.
And he's got some good stuff on there. I saw you review some Japanese products and things. So thanks for watching, and hope you guys all have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks, Joe.